Hello all. Today I'm going to discuss with you the first chapter in class ninth, the subject that is biology in science. As you know, the first chapter in biology, that is the fundamental unit of life. All living organisms are made up of cell. Cell is the structural unit of life. That means if you take any living organism, these all living organisms are made up of cell. Our body is made up of cell. Plant's body is also made up of cell. So the definition of cell is the basic unit of life. And when we talk about cell, we must learn the history of cell discovery. Cell was discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665 when Robert Hooke examined a thin slice of cork under his self designed microscope. Then he saw some honeycomb like structure in it. He called them as cell. Cell is a Latin word which means little room. Later in 1674, Anton van Leeuwenhoek discovered living cell from pond water. Mr. Anton van Leeuwenhoek, scientist, worked he conducted a research with pond water. During his research, he observed the pond water under his self-designed microscope. Then he saw a bacteria cell in it. He called them as cell. He called them as living cell. Actually, Anton van Leeuwenhoek discovered living cell from pond water, or he observed living cell from pond water. Later, on 1839, a botanist Schleiden and a zoologist Schwann, both of them, they proposed the world famous cell theory. You know what is cell theory? Cell theory means all living organisms are made up of cell, and cell is the basic unit of life. Cell theory is saying that all living organisms are made up of cell, and cell is the basic unit of life. Later, in 1855, scientist Virchow, he proposed a new cell theory which is called as modern cell theory. Do you know what is modern cell theory? Actually, a modern cell theory which is proposed by Virchow in 1855. In his modern cell theory, he is saying that all cells arise from a pre-existing cell. Means all cells come from a pre-existing cell, and all organisms are made up of cell. As you know, when a cell comes, or when a organism come, or when a human being are there, this all human being and organisms are come from a single cell. The single cell undergoes various kinds of cell division. Later, we are here. So, all living organisms come from a single cell, or all cells arise. Arise means come. All cells come from a single cell. If you see this diagram, animal cell has its own diagram and plant cell has its own diagram. So when you learn in the exam point of view, you should be very alert. You should show two diagrams in two way, and each diagram should be different in each diagram should be different. There are lots of dissimilarities are there. By seeing this diagram, you should able to label all dissimilarities.